Well, the reason I started Uphill was not so much important to me as an individual, but it was a dream from my childhood. Because when I was a boy, me and my brothers had no idea that we could really leave the next day. Because we were abandoned by our dad. Our mom was so young. She was struggling to get food and clothes for us. And that was the whole life we lived in from when we were babies up to some years. But every day when we went to school, we would be sent out. For example, in Uganda, you go to school 5 days, and you are sent for tuition on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. There was a time when I was a boy, I thought of leaving school. Actually, later, in the course of life, my two brothers left school because my mother could not afford tuition. I kept with a dream until I was old, and when I was at teaching college, and having been mentored and admiring how teaching was so important, I kept with the dream of starting a school. Later, when I was posted by training college into schools, I used to see how kids were struggling, including Girura Primary School, where I volunteered for some time. Every day, children in Uganda are sent out, and you never know at home there's no food, there's no water. Life at home is difficult, the same way we lived. So one day, when I was still at college, I penned down my dream. I said, when I grow up, I need a school where children of the poor and the rich could walk on the same pavement, and no one is going to say, you're from a poor home. So, and the dream kept there until 2011, when a small school had been blown off by wind at the church, and the neighbors called me and said, you could find a school. I said, starting a school is difficult. I was a little boy, about I think 24, 25, 23 years old. But I went back to the dream. I said, maybe this is an opportunity. And I had no dream that I could have such a big school like I have right now. I was thinking about this small kindergarten of 3 classes of baby, middle, and top class. I opened the school on Monday, 7th. I think it was around Tuesday because the Monday was different. I had no material for this, and it was 7th of February 2011. I just hired a small house. It was just no door, no windows, and 60 kids. And one teacher, because I was helping at Ugura Primary School, was running up and keeping these kids. There were around 60 kids from different homes. They were babies. Even when you check in the first photographs, most of these have graduated, were little babies. So the school began, and later the community got to love that the school has begun as, I think it was the first ever private school around. And the babies were happy, were running up and down with the teacher and me. And later I nearly gave up on the dream of running a school because my mother was complaining. Because everywhere I could have a small job, all the money could go to school. Until sometimes we say the miracle happened. And the miracle happened along the way. And there I met Max. And I had 60 kids. Me, who had no sure that the school could last for another year, now the big school dream started. I think it was until when I had this school in an open ground with wood and no roof, and I think a few iron sheets, until when Max and his family raised some money to roof it and paint it, and the Brownies raised the money for the first tank. That was, I think, around the schools in Kasenda was the first school to have a water tank, because schools never had water tanks by that time, and we had the water tank, and kids were running up and down, tap the water. School needed land, needed qualified teachers, and the first dream and an idea was that the trustees said, we can have qualified. I remember actually, if I could quote Marx's statement, he said, a school is the teachers. And he said, if you can't have the teachers, then you don't have a school. And then the trustees began paying the teachers, and then raising the money for the first plot, the second plot, and another plot, and the first building, which is now the current kindergarten latrine. We began with, I think that's when Dollar Academy came in. And they donated huge money that built the McNabb building, which houses P5, P6 and P7. To me, that was really a dream come true. I never thought we could have, and that's when I come to remember Warren, and who was our head builder. He says, I don't think we can have another building because this is too big for us. And then another building, the Isabel Duncan building, which is the administration block, came in. And more money came in for fencing the school, and now the water harvesting system. As Elius, I still look at education as very important. There's nothing you can, I quote Mandela. Mandela says, the only thing you can use to change this world is education. This community has been a community of differences. Way back, these people left the national park because the former president, Obote, said, you can't live in the national reserve, and people who lived at the edge of the national park, their biggest challenge has been education. Most girls, especially girls, have left school at the age of 15, 12, 13, and 20 to go and get married. And when I came here in this community, I felt the way to raise this community is to give girls an opportunity. And I will tell you, it's been an achievement for us. When we tracked down the girls that, the first cohort, actually the girls are successful. I think the first cohort, Joanne, has just completed high school, senior 6. She goes to university. And most of them, and now the new cohorts are really getting to be successful, entering Nyakasura, which is a big school. And most big schools in Uganda are taking our scholars. I don't think I could have done this myself. That's when I would say the Ugandan miracle came in, and the trustees came, and I think the entire Scottish community has come. There's a local proverb where we say, instead of spending a day drinking or digging, you better go to make friendship. It helps. If I had not met Max, I don't think this uphill would be there. There'll be another, maybe someone would have had this uphill. Maybe should have closed, but there couldn't have been such a beautiful school. Because the Scottish people have given it a heart, their soul, and every coin that they have donated has gone to use. Because, and for us, we look at the value for money. If you look at the new block, which is the dining hall, beautiful, beautiful. Because, and we are the only school with such a beautiful hall. In the hall, we have 8 government schools around and 13 private schools, more than 13 private schools. They are struggling, but we have a nice main hall, which is dining, the main hall, and now the kids are using the new TV to watch educational movies, which is very fantastic. And our kitchen, such a beautiful kitchen. I think people have, well, we're happy that the district has qualified us to be model school. Because if you want the water, you come here. If you want to see computers, one of the challenges the Uganda curriculum has is that it has not adapted the science, technology, engineering, and math because there are no facilities in schools. But for us as a school, we have been able to run the skilling program, which has been also funded by the trustees, and also the computers, still funded by the trustees, but giving the rural kids an opportunity worthy. In Uganda,
education is a better beginning. Without education, you are never winning. Oh, a dirty cup holds a dirty water. An illiterate has a dirty brain. How far, my dear? Wash up your cup and drink fresh water.